Sir Terry has met Nick Bowles, the Planning Minister. The review's obviously been commissioned by me, and I'm sure that where his recommendations are relevant to other government departments, other ministers will want to take a look. But again, I think it's important to stress that this is a process. We're beginning a dialogue, and it's not just the government that has to be part of that dialogue, but all the other stakeholders as well. Well, we had to take a tough decision because of the economic climate about how to ensure CABE's future. I'm pleased we have ensured CABE's future, but I am a passionate supporter of what CABE did and what it does, and I'm very interested in Sir Terry's ideas about place and place making. I would like to see strong engagement in terms of good design, both in the housing we design, but also in the way it is planned.
I think the idea of an urban room is one that it could be a game changer. It would mean that people could all go to a place or access somewhere virtually. It could be a website where they can see not only the past of their shape of their place, but also any proposals for the future. I think it's part of design and planning literacy that they see it. They can actually get the feel of the scale and the scope of anything that's going to be proposed. And I think the other one I would pick out is architecture and the built environment being part of all school curricula, that it's embedded in the existing subjects, and that architects and others, other professionals in different parts of the built environment and planning and so on, actively engaged with teachers. And I think part of every subject in the school, we should aim for it to be part of that curriculum. I would really want there to be a huge initiative coming from the industry. There is a lot of money in the industry. Housing is the basis for the wealth of the nation. Not wherever you are, the proportion of your life that is your workplace, your street, your house is enormous. So I think people should invest. They shouldn't say somebody else should invest first. They should show that they are actively mobile and find ways that the government could help, rather than the other way around.
I said to Terry at the outset that the best way of getting your recommendations taken forward is if they don't cost any money. So it's always a surefire win with government if you're putting forward something that won't cost money. I mean, I think Terry's point is very well made. I mean, if you take the top recommendation that he's made about urban rooms, I think you're not going to get urban rooms in every town and city overnight, and I think there should be a pilot, and I think that pilot should, for example, be supported by industry, but it could also be supported by a particular city that wanted to do that pilot. And I think it'd be very interesting then to see how it develops. So it's not just government money, but also local government money, whether that could play a role as well.
We have a system that is not that common in the rest of the world. We don't have protection of function. In certain countries, you can't make an application for things unless it's signed by a registered architect. We do instead another system where we protect title. But if you look at the amount of action that's taken against people who call themselves an architect and aren't, it's very, very slight. It really doesn't add up to a can of beans, in my view.
There didn't seem to be very much on tackling climate change, zero carbon design. Was that intentional?
Well, I think Terry's report mentions sustainability and mentions the fact that we are seen around the world as world leaders in sustainability. So part of it was part of an export strategy, if you like, in the sense that we should be going around the world teaching people about sustainability, but I'm sure Terry will want to say more.
I don't like to separate out sustainability as a separate subject. I think it's embedded in everything. I've mentioned schools and school children. It's part of that. It's part of the energy discussions. I think it's part of heritage. I think part of conservation is about our existing buildings. There is embedded carbon. I do refer to sustainability more often as an embedded subject throughout than as a separate subject, because that's the way it should be. It should be part of life.